So, continuing from the last video, I have now cut out my template, my stencil, and I'm going to just draw around it. Now I've stuck it, I've just Pritt sticked it to my MDF. I'm just going to draw around it to start with, relatively roughly. Something to be noted here is when you draw around a template or a stencil, that shape becomes larger than you first intended. But in this case, it should be okay. Something that people don't always realise when they make these little die cast patterns is you need to make sure you leave some space either side. You'll need to cut this out with a coping saw, and what will happen is if it becomes too thin, that material becomes quite brittle or quite weak, and what sometimes happens is that becomes really easy to break, and that means we end up having a problem because we have to end up remaking our mould. Now mistakes happen, but we just need to make sure I'm trying to avoid that as much as we can. I'm going to peel my template off. You can see I've got a nice bold shape there, looks pretty even. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my ruler and my pair of compasses and just make sure those lines look nice and perfect before I start cutting it out. My next step after that will be to cut out these two pieces and then use those and put them on top of my piece of acrylic, which I'm going to use, and then cut that out so I can put my inserts in there as well.